Hello and welcome to part 2 of the level A1, especially the alphabet. By now, you have seen the vowels, you have seen the accents, and you have seen this slide that I'm showing you where we talked about the sounds. Now we're going to dive deeper into each one with examples. Let's go to the first one, which is the letter B, or the consonant B. We call it la lettre B, so it sounds B, like the English B in bats. B. Examples are bon, which means good, bébé, which means baby. Now let's repeat after me. Bon, your turn. Good. A second time. Bon, your turn. Good, perfect. Let's go to the second example. Bébé, your turn. Perfect. A second time. Bébé, your turn. Perfect, good. Now let's move to the second consonant, which is the letter C or la lettre C. Pronounce it C. It has two sounds. It has the K sound, the hard K sound before the vowels A, O, or U. And it has the S sound, the S, the soft or E. So you might be wondering what happens if there is a consonant. Well, the only situation like that, like there is another situation where, like if you remember, we saw show, which is a C followed by H, which is a combination that gave the sh. But there are other ones like another consonant after the C, but we will go in details as we explore the vocabulary into that. So let's try it. First example, carte. Your turn. Carte means map. It does also mean in carte, like cards, like when you're playing cards. Je joue aux cartes, excusez-moi. And the second example is ce, which means this. Okay, let's try it again. First example, you repeat after me. Carte, your turn. Perfect. Try it a second time. Carte, your turn. Perfect. Second example, ce, your turn. Perfect. Let's try it another time. Ce, your turn. Parfait. Good. Let's move to the letter D, la lettre D. It's like the English D in dog. D. Dog. Okay. Examples are dire, which is the verb that means to say. Doux. It's an adjective that means soft. Okay, repeat after me. First example. Dire. Your turn. Perfect. Let's try that a second time. Dire. Your turn. Perfect. Second example. Doux. Your turn. Perfect. A second time. Doux. Your turn. Perfect. Good. Okay, let's move to the other letter. Because after the D, you know, we have the vowel E and then we have F. La lettre F. The letter F. It sounds the same. So let's look at some example. Fête. This means party. A party. It's also when you say je fête, it means I celebrate. Second example is fleur. It means flower. Okay, let's try it. Repeat after me. First example. Fête. Your turn. Perfect. A second time. Fête. Your turn. Perfect. Good. Let's move to the second example. Fleur. Your turn. Good. Perfect. A second time. Fleur. Your turn. Perfect. Good. So letter G or la lettre G has two ways of saying it. It is pronounced whether G, like a hard G before A, O, U, or a soft J, like the S in measure, before E and I. Alors, avant A, O, U, we have G, et avant E, I, we have J. Okay? So let me give you some examples. For example, if we have this example before A, it's going to be gare. Before O, it's going to be like gum, which means eraser in English. Before U, it's going to be like guitar, a guitar, basically. And then we have the soft G's, it's before the E. Like this one, we have gel or général. Gel means freezes. Général means a general. And before the E, the I, it's like gilet, which means a vest. Gilet. Okay. Let's try and repeat after me these two examples that we have here. So, gare, which means train station. Repeat after me. Gare, your turn. Good. A second time. Gare, your turn. Perfect. Let's try the second one. Gel, your turn. Okay, second time. Gel, your turn. Perfect. Good. So now let's move to the letter H. La lettre H. So la lettre H is always silent in French. There is no way it's going to be pronounced, okay? So examples are which means man, hiver, which means winter. Okay, let's repeat the first one after me. Your turn. A second time. Your turn. Perfect. Second example. Hiver, your turn. Perfect. Let's try a second time. Hiver, your turn. Hiver. That's perfect. Okay, I'm just trying to help you here. Okay, so the other letter that we have now is the J, la lettre J. It's called la lettre J in French. So it's like the sound that S makes in measure. Je. It's like it's pronounced like if the one before, that's before the, sorry, the one we saw before, the J, the soft J that's before E and I, it's the same pronunciation with G. Let's give you some examples. So jour, which means day. Joli, which means pretty or beautiful. Okay? So let's try that. Repeat after me. Jour, your turn. Perfect. Let's try that again. Jour, your turn. Perfect. Okay, let's move to the second example. Joli, your turn. Perfect. Let's try that again. Joli, your turn. Perfect. Good. Okay. Let's move to the letter K. It's like the letter K in English, but it's called la lettre K. K. So it sounds like the English K in kite, K. And the examples are kiwi, which also means kiwi in English, or kilo, which means kilograms in English. Okay, let's repeat after me. Kiwi, your turn. Perfect. A second time. Kiwi, your turn. Perfect. Okay. Second example. Kilo, your turn. Perfect. A second time. Kilo, your turn. Perfect. Good. Let's move to the following one. So, the letter L, ou la lettre L, same sound, L. Like the English L in light, lights. Let's try it with some examples. Les, your turn. Perfect. This one means milk. The second example, soleil, means sun. Let's try it. Soleil. Repeat after me. Your turn. Soleil. Your turn. Second time. Soleil. Your turn. Soleil. That's perfect. Good. Okay, next letter is gonna be M. La lettre M. They sound the same as in English, like the English M in mother. So first example is mère, which means mother, maison, which means house. Please do not confuse mère, which means mother, and mère, which means beach, the beach. So let me just put it over here. So the other one we have is mer. This one means beach. Let me just make it big. So do not confuse. They are what we call homophone, meaning they sound the same. They don't have the same orthograph, but they sound the same, but they do not mean the same thing. Please do not confuse one with the other. So mère means mother. The other one, mer, with M-E-R, means the beach. Maison means house. Okay, let's try this example. Mère, repeat after me. Mère, your turn. Perfect. A second time. Mère, your turn. Perfect. Second example. Maison, repeat after me. Maison, your turn. You got it. Yes, second time. Maison, your turn. That's good. Okay. Let me just remove the annotation and we'll move to the next letter. Okay, clear all my drawing. So, la lettre N, letter N, sound like the English N in nice. So, for the example, we have nuit, which means night, neuf, which means 9. Okay, let's repeat after me. Nuit, your turn. Okay, good. Repeat after me. Nuit, your turn. Perfect. Okay, let's move to the second one. Neuf, your turn. Perfect. Good. Okay. A second time. Neuf. Let's try it. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's move to the following letter, which is P. P sounds like the English P in pen. So in English we say P, but in French we say P. Okay. Examples are pain, which means bread, peur, which means fear. Okay. So let's try and pronounce the first one. You repeat after me. Pain. Your turn. Okay, good. A second time. Pain. Your turn. Good. Okay. Let's move to the second example. Peur. Your turn. That's good. Okay, perfect. A second time. Peur. Your turn. Okay, that's good. Okay. The following letter is the letter Q, which is in French, la lettre Q. Okay. So we don't say Q, we say Q. Okay. So it's always pronounced like the letter K, like a hard K. Like let's see some examples so that you can understand. Que, which means that. So we say I would love that, which means j'aimerais que, genre j'aimerais que, and then you say what you would like to have or do or anything like that. Okay. Second example is quatre, which means 4. We haven't seen the numbers yet, but quatre is actually the number 4 in French. Okay, let's try it. First example, que. Perfect. Okay, repeat after me a second time. Que. Your turn. Perfect. Okay, let's move to the second example. Quatre. Your turn. Okay, a second time. Quatre. Your turn. Perfect. Now let's move to the following letter, the letter R. We don't say R in French. We say la lettre R, R, like air, like you're coming up for air. Definitely. So it's a guttural R produced in the throat. So we say R, but we say R, R. It's produced over here. So just remember air, the word air coming up, like smelling the air. R is actually how we pronounce it. Examples are rule. Rue, sorry. I said rule. That's funny. Okay, I'll leave it in the video. I won't cut myself out. Anyway, so first example is rue, which means street. Okay. Second example is rouge, which means red. I know we haven't seen the colors yet, but rouge means red in English. So let's try it. First example, repeat after me. Rue, your turn. Okay, good. A second time. Rue, your turn. Perfect. Okay. Second example. Rouge. Repeat after me. Rouge. Your turn. Perfect. A second time. Rouge. Your turn. Perfect. Okay. Let's move to letter S. And this one is a bit tricky because sometimes it sounds like a normal S, but sometimes it is like the Z, the Z. So like the first sound is like the S in sit, and the second one is Z, like the Z in zoo. When S is between vowels, remember that. Each time you see an S between vowels, then it means it's gonna sound like Z. Okay, let's try some examples. First example, as we saw this example in letter L. So soleil, this one means sun. Second example is maison. Maison means house. Okay, repeat after me. Soleil, your turn. That's good. A second time. Soleil, your turn. That's good. Okay. Second example. Repeat after me. Maison, your turn. Okay, that's good. Okay, for a second time. Maison, your turn. That's good. That's perfect. Let's move to the letter T. La lettre T. It's like we don't say tea like the tea that we drink. We say tea. Okay. So it's like the English, the T is pronounced the same. It's like tea in top, thought, it's a T basically. So let's check out some examples. We have the first example is table, which means table. It has the same way of writing it, but it does sound table, not table. Table. Second example is thé, which means tea. Do you see the thing? It's how it is pronounced. It's actually like the T in English, and T is like la lettre T. Okay, so let's repeat after me. First example, repeat after me. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Table. Your turn. Good. For a second time, repeat after me. Table. Your turn. That's good. Perfect. Okay, let's move to the second example. Thé. Your turn. Perfect. Let's try that again. Thé. Your turn. That's good. Okay. Let's move to the following letter, which is the letter V, la lettre V. So it sounds like the English V in vine. Okay. Some examples are vin, which means wine, and vert, which means green. There is enough more fun like this one, but it doesn't have the same way of writing it. Let me show it to you. It means 20 because it means the number 20. Let me just show it to you. I want you to know this one. Sorry. Okay. 20. And with a VINGT. This one means 20. So that you know. Sometimes you're gonna hear it. I'm not sure of this one. Let me just make sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's the way it is written. Okay, good. So let's repeat. So repeat after me. First example, 20. Your turn. Okay, good. Let's try that again. 20. Your turn. That's good. Okay. Second example, vert. Repeat after me. Vert. Your turn. That's good. Okay. For a second time. Vert. Try it. Good. Perfect. Okay. Let's move to the letter that follows V, which is, oh, sorry. Which is W. W is W. It's like you have the V and it makes a W. Okay? So sometimes it does sound like the V, and sometimes it sounds like a W, basically. But both of them are used in borrowed words in French. In the French language, as any language, we have borrowed words. So the V sound are borrowed words from German, and the W sound, the W, are in borrowed words from English. Some examples are wagon, which means a wagon, which actually has a German origin. And the second word is whiskey, which comes from whiskey and has an English origin. So let's repeat after me. Wagon, your turn. That's perfect. Okay, let's try another time. Wagon, your turn. That's good. Okay. Let's try the second example. Whiskey, your turn. A second time. Whiskey, your turn. Perfect. Okay. So letter X ou la lettre X. Alors, this one has a special case in it, but most of the time it is pronounced kiss at the beginning or end of a word and gis between vowels. Special case in certain words like cis. It is not pronounced six in French. It is used as a standalone number. The X is pronounced S instead of kiss. So some examples are taxi, a taxi or a cab. Exemple, so you hear the giz, et ici, six, which means six. So let's repeat after me. Taxi, your turn. That's good. Okay, let's try that a second time. Taxi, your turn. That's good. Okay, let's try the one that means example. Okay. Exemple, your turn. That's good. Okay. Let's try the last one. Oh, sorry, a second time. Second time. Repeat after me. Exemple. Your turn. That's good. Okay. And the last one, cis. Your turn. That's good. Second time, cis. your turn. That's good. Perfect. So now let's move to the letter Y that we have already seen. It does sound Y. That's what this phonetic sound means. Y. Semi-vowel sound in diphthong. It's a weird word to say, but it just means that Y. It links vowels. It's like a semi-vowel. It links stuff. It is used, with consonants, not vowels. And in the second one, it acts like E, like the I. So E, la lettre I. It acts like E, like a vowel in these other cases. So let's try the examples. Yeux, les yeux, means eyes. Style means style. So repeat after me. Yeux. Your turn. Okay, good. Let's try that once again. Yeux. Your turn. Perfect. Okay, let's move to the second one. Style. Your turn. Perfect. A second time. Style. Your turn. That's perfect. Good. Okay. And the letter Z, we are at the end of this one. So Z, it sounds like the English Z in zebra. So on dit la lettre Z. Okay. Examples include zéro, which means zero in English. Zèbre, which means zebra. Okay, let's repeat after me. Zéro, your turn. Okay, parfait. A second time. Zéro, your turn. Good. Second example. Repeat after me. Zèbre, your turn. Perfect. Okay, let's try that once again. Zèbre, your turn. Perfect. So that ends our consonants. Before we move to the reminder of all the alphabet, then the dictation, I want you to make sure that you really saw this video, all of it, and that you are really taking extensive note. As I said in the beginning of this training, get yourself a notebook. Don't write only on paper. Like make it like you can check the thing, not lose it. Anyway, I want to point out something before we get to the dictation and the reminder and also spelling your name. We will spell my name so that you can kind of know a bit, but from the alphabet, you could spell it. Anyways, so sometimes in French, we have combinations of letters that actually make sounds, different sounds, but we won't be going in depth into it. I just want to point it out. For example, when you combine E and N, it says, it means en, like it sounds en, and A and N too. So this, I would read it enfant, which means child, enfant, enfant. So then you have the P and the H. When they are combined, it sounds like an F. So phénomène, which means phenomenon, phénomène. Then you have something else apart from the combinations, which are the homophones. I pointed out before when we were talking about mère, that means mother, and mère, that means beach. Here we have only a, and these are used in conjugating the verbs at the end. These are like when you take the stem of the verb and you add the ending. ETA means and, et, it means and ESTA, which is the verb être, which is the verb to be in French. And this is used for the singular third person, which is il or elle, depending if it's masculine or feminine. We say il est, he is, or elle est, which means she is. So anyway, we are going to go deep into these in upcoming lessons. Now let's take a look at the whole alphabet and I will pronounce it. And each time I pronounce a letter, I want you to pronounce it after me. Okay, let's go. A, your turn. B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Now, how do you spell your name? So if you need to go back and repeat this part, please do, because it's essential if someone asks you, peux-tu épeler ton prénom? Peux-tu épeler ton nom? If someone asks you, peux-tu épeler ton nom? Nom means last name. Sorry. Nom means last name. Prénom means first name. Okay, I'm gonna spell my first name. Je vais épeler mon prénom, okay? Lamia, ça s'appelle Lamia. I will do that again a second time. Je vais épeler mon prénom une deuxième fois. I will spell my name a second time. Lamia. Parfait. If your name is David in French, it's gonna be D-A-V-I-D. Try it yourself. If you don't know how it sounds, like you don't remember what I just, the sound that I just made when I was saying the alphabet, just go back a bit and try it. Okay. Now let's move to lesson 2. Leçon 2, la dictée des lettres de l'alphabet. Lesson 2, the alphabet dictation. So I am going to dictate in this lesson the alphabet and not in order. They are going to be scrambled, random letters. And I need you to take your notebook right now and listen to me and write it down. So we are kind of testing out your listening skills. Okay, let's go. So, writing time, écoutez et écrivez. Listen and write. So, I'm going to start. G, B, Q, F, Z, O, A, K, R, P, D, H, M, L, S, U, C, T, V, E, W, J, X, I, N, Y. So I am going to say it once again, but faster, so that you can check if you have them all. So, G, B, Q, F, Z, O, A, K, R, P, D, H, M, L, S, U, C, T, V, E, W, J, X, I, N, Y. So I think you might have them all, right? Okay, so this is the 26 letters that we have in the alphabet. Now, in a minute, like not even a minute, in 10 seconds, the next slide will show you what I just spelled, what I just told you. So this is the correction. Take your time to look at it and make sure you have them all. If ever you didn't get it right, go back in the beginning of this video and try it once again. This is the end of the alphabet. I hope you know the alphabet by now. If ever you find it like beneficial to you, please share, comment, and like if you're on YouTube right now. Bye.